The tension in the room was almost suffocating. The press briefing had been smooth, until it wasn't. Karoline Leavitt, poised and confident, had just wrapped up another sharp and articulate response when it happened. A voice sliced through the air like a knife. "Miss Leavitt," a reporter called out, their tone dripping with condescension. "At just 27 years old, do you honestly believe you have the experience necessary for a role of this magnitude? Don't you think the American people deserve someone seasoned, someone with real credibility?" Silence. Every head in the room turned. A few exchanged glances. Some reporters smirked, sensing blood in the water. The journalist, young but arrogant, gripping his notepad like a weapon, tapped his pen against the table, waiting for her response. His smirk widened, confident he had her cornered. For a split second, Karoline's calm demeanor flickered, just enough for the keenest observers to catch. But just as quickly, she straightened, pressing her lips into a measured smile. She didn't rush to answer. Instead, she let the silence stretch. The weight of the question, the audacity of it, settled over the room. And then, "Is that what we're doing now?" Donald Trump's voice cut through the hush, steady, firm, and laced with amusement. All eyes snapped to the former president as he leaned forward into the mic. "We're questioning people because they're young? That's the argument now?" The reporter hesitated but held his ground. "Mr. President, it's a valid question. Experience matters. Surely you—" Trump lifted a hand, stopping him mid-sentence. "Number, it's not a valid question. It's a lazy question. And trust me, I've heard plenty of lazy questions in my time." A chuckle rippled through the room. The tension cracked. If only for a moment, Trump wasn't done. "Let's not pretend you care about experience. That's not what this is about, and we both know it. You don't question career politicians who've sat in Washington for 30, 40 years collecting paychecks while delivering nothing. You don't ask them if they're qualified, do you? No, you're fine with them running the country into the ground as long as they fit your mold." The reporter blinked, his confidence wavering. "But someone young? Someone new? Someone who doesn't play by your rules? Suddenly experience is a problem." Trump gestured toward Karoline, who sat silently, composed, though something in her expression had shifted. "Here's the truth you don't want to admit," he continued. "Karoline Leavitt is exactly what this country needs. She's sharp, she's driven, and most importantly, she's not one of you. She's not bogged down by backroom deals and career corruption. She's actually doing the job. Meanwhile, you're sitting here trying to tear her down because she doesn't fit your outdated idea of what a politician should be." The room shifted. A few reporters exchanged uncertain glances. Some nodded, despite themselves. The reporter opened his mouth to counter, but Trump didn't give him the chance. "Tell me something," he challenged, pointing at the journalist. "If age is such a problem, why don't you ever question the experienced politicians who've led us into debt, war, and failure? Why is it always the ones who actually want to change the system that get scrutinized?" The journalist stammered, but Trump steamrolled over him. "Alexander the Great? Led an empire at 20? Teddy Roosevelt? A political force in his 20s? History is built on young leaders. But sure, tell me again how Karoline at 27 is somehow a problem while your seasoned politicians rack up trillion-dollar deficits and accomplish nothing." The tension in the room was electric. A murmur spread through the press corps. Even some of the most skeptical journalists seemed to consider his words. Karoline, silent until now, let a faint smile tug at her lips. Trump leaned back, his voice leveling. "Karoline doesn't need me to defend her. She's more than capable of handling herself, but I couldn't pass up the opportunity to put you in your place." Karoline let out a small laugh, shaking her head. "I think you did more than that." "Thank you." Trump waved a hand dismissively. "Don't thank me. Just keep proving them wrong. That's worth more than all the so-called experience in the world." The press conference moved on, but the moment lingered. The confrontation had passed, But something had changed. Karoline wasn't just standing her ground. She was claiming it.